We've been asking you what kind of topics you want us to cover, and this one has come up a lot, and I can certainly understand why. Today, we are talking about what you can expect when your friends start having kids. Will your friendship change? How will it change? We're gonna cover it all, and I'm gonna give you some important tips that will help you navigate through this challenging time. Hi friends, I'm Veronica and this is the Childfree Connection. If you've been with us before, welcome back to our channel, and if this is your first time here, welcome, welcome, welcome. My partner Rick and I are in our 40s and live a child-free life. Rick is very much a part of this channel, but he tends to stay behind the scenes doing the production thing and making the occasional appearance, which is why we call him sometimes Rick. However, he did tell me that he wanted to share his 2 cents on this topic, so make sure you watch the whole video to get his take. We're in Austin, Texas, and the humidity today is through the roof, which is why I opted for the space buns. And there's a giant storm happening behind the camera, so I might be reacting to some thunder and lightning, but we will figure it out. Our strongest bonds can be formed as early as grade school or maybe high school, college, or one of your first jobs. I'm 45 now, but I took full advantage of my 20s. I had a really good time hanging out and going out with all my friends, and I built extremely strong friendships with people that I consider family. But around my mid to late 20s, my relationships with my friends started to change. Now, obviously, this first wave of friendships change is normal. Responsibility sets in and friendships start to shift as life happens. People get married, they move to other cities, they have busy careers. But one factor that really caused a major change in my friendships was when my friends started to have kids. Before we move on, the intention of the Childfree Connection is to connect with one another through our individual child-free experiences and for sure have some fun. This channel is for inspiration, support, celebration, and education of living child-free. It's for like-minded people to explore the topics that matter to us most. Now, if that sounds like a community that you want to be a part of, please take a moment to like this video, click the subscribe button, and hit the bell so that you get notified each time we release new content. Now, there's no guidebook on how to manage the change that happens when your friends start having kids, and to be completely honest, I had no idea how to handle it, nor did I fully see it coming. Thinking back, I'm pretty sure that I was one of the only ones in my friend circles who decided not to have kids, so I was swimming in a sea of excited new moms and dads. Okay, an important side note here. Before I start going through the list of expectations, I want to be clear that I 100% understand that children can be all-consuming and can drastically change a person's life. So what I am going to share with you does not, and I'm gonna repeat it, does not come from a place of judgment towards people who have kids. This is meant to help manage the expectations of people who do not have kids, which is what the Childfree Connection is all about. This is my experience and my perspective as a child-free person, and the reason I am sharing this with you is because at the time when almost all of my friends were having kids and I was feeling the way I was feeling, I wish I had someone my age who could say to me, look, here's what you can expect. Okay, so today I'm going to share with you 4 expectations you should be aware of when your friends start having kids. And make sure to watch the entire video because after I give you the expectations, I'm also going to share tips that will definitely help you handle all of the change that you're going to experience. Number 1, you may not see your friends for extended periods of time. I know this may sound like common sense because we all know that kids take up a lot of time, childcare is expensive or hard to come by, etc., etc. So I obviously knew that I wouldn't see my friends as often as I was accustomed to, but what I did not anticipate is the length of time that would go by without seeing them and sometimes without even hearing from them. It can feel a bit jarring when you want to see your friends so badly and you you finally make a plan, but you're offered these extremely limited windows that are weeks or maybe even months into the future, and the offer to hang out revolves around meeting in a playground or going on a Babies R Us run. There may be exceptions in the length of time. For example, if you live in the same building or on the same block, but I lived in the same neighborhood as one of my very best friends who has kids for 2 whole years, and I literally saw her twice. So what I did learn was that the distance that separates you and your friends is not geographic, it's emotional. It didn't matter if someone lived 5 minutes away or an hour, the separation was inevitable. Number 2. Spending time with them often means spending time with their kids. This was a tough one because sometimes you're really looking forward to some quality time with your friend, but when you finally do find time to spend together, their kid is crying or having a temper tantrum or is really wanting you to be their play date, so you turn into this weird part-time babysitter. This can be a nightmare if hanging out with kids isn't your thing. I do like kids and I've enjoyed getting to know my friends' kids, but after having a lot of these experiences, I realized that I had to let go. I had to let go of my expectations of what our time together would look like. You just can't talk like you used to about work, about relationships, about feelings, because there is a child or multiple children present that absolutely need their attention. Before I move on to the next 2 expectations, I'm wondering, for those of you who already have friends that started having kids, have you noticed any changes in your friendship? Let me know in the comments below. Number 3, you don't get invited to kid-friendly events. This is a tricky one because I can certainly see how people can assume that the last thing a child-free person wants to do is spend their Saturday at a kid's 2nd birthday at Chuck E. Cheese, which is likely true. But the thing is that sometimes these events are the only opportunities where everyone gets together. I clearly remember seeing photos on social media of friends having barbecues or beach parties and backyard parties with parent friends and their kids and feeling really left out that I hadn't been invited. But like I mentioned in the previous expectation, your time with friends is limited, so these get-togethers sometimes are your only option, and it feels a little disappointing that you weren't at least offered the choice. Number 4, the topic of conversation revolves around all things children. I can guarantee you that this is going to happen 100%. When you ask your friend how they are, the answer will most likely not be about them, but about their kids, which I can completely understand and make sense. If their kid is struggling, so are they. If their kid is happy, so are they. And by the way, I talked about some of this in our top 5 reasons we chose not to have kids video, which you should definitely check out if you haven't seen it yet. The most challenging part about all the kid talk is probably when you're in a group setting and you're the only non-parent. The entire conversation revolves around children, and I have to be honest here, it's not easy to sit there and listen to a 45-minute breakdown of why one stroller is better than another, or diving into the best methods to try when your boobs are leaking, but that's just the reality. When I look back at those years with my friends, I certainly wish I had taken some steps to feel a bit more at ease during that time. So I want to help you. So now that I shared what you could expect, I'm also going to share tips that I wish I had during those years. But before I do, making his official on-camera child-free connection debut is sometimes Rick with his 2 cents in 20 seconds.
So my personal experience was somewhat similar to Veronica's, but the difference is that I was determined to keep the same friend circle, which looking back was probably a big mistake. If I would have just accepted the reality that priorities had changed for my friends, planning time with them would have been a lot less frustrating.
Tip number 1. Articulate how you feel and what you need. I never said anything because I didn't know I could and I didn't know how to. My friends were so busy with their babies and trying to raise families, and the last thing I wanted to be was a burden to them in any way. And also, society had ingrained in me that parents were the busy ones who had taken on this giant responsibility, so I had to work around them. But now I realize that this was all my issue, not theirs. I should have said, I'd rather wait until it's only you and me to hang out over taking time out of my busy schedule for a hang that was cut short by a temper tantrum and then feeling icky that my time isn't respected. I should have said, I love getting updates on your kids, but I really want to spend the day talking about you and your feelings and how you're doing. I should have said, next time you have a birthday party at the house, I love to be invited so I can spend some time with you and your family. Also, if you're child-free by circumstance and it's difficult for you to spend time with your friends and their kids, share with them what it brings up for you. It's completely okay to express your feelings. You are not less important and your time is not less valuable simply because you're child-free. Number 2, acknowledge and accept that it's a two-way street. It may sometimes feel like our lives are less significant, but just like they may not be paying attention that you just got a promotion you've been longing for, or starting a new business, or finished writing a book, or you managed to get yourself out of a toxic relationship, we also aren't counting every time the tooth fairy visits their kids, or if they're being bullied in school, or if they finally made a team they keep trying out for. Parents may find one of our stories as completely uninterested as we find theirs. Also, you may be the one that has to make more of the effort, but that's just the reality. Obviously, there are many exceptions, but as child-free people, we generally do have more free time. So if it's you that has to ask to hang out a second time, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, there's a spectrum here, so I'm not saying be a pushover or only work around your friends' schedules or allow them to disrespect your time in any way. What I'm saying is that if your friend has 3 kids and forgot that you made brunch plans over the weekend, it's likely not because they don't value your friendship, it may just be because they have 3 kids. Number 3, have patience. Kids grow up, so once my friends' kids started getting older, I started to hear from them more often. Our conversations became more frequent. We didn't only talk about their kids, and they started initiating plans again. It happens slowly, but it does happen, and this is where you have the choice to either be bitter and feel like, oh, now you have time for me, or you can put the tips in place I'm giving you today and acknowledge that these changes will happen and understand that for a lengthy period of time, you and your friend are just on separate paths. Number 4, build your own community. It's definitely easier for your friends who are parents to make you friends. They have their kids' classmate parents, the teammate parents, the neighbor parents, and so on and so on. As child-free people, we aren't presented with all these opportunities to make new friends, so it's really up to us to find like-minded people to join our tribe. For me, I found myself creating friendships with people that were 5, 10, 15 years younger than me, which worked out rather nicely when it came to spontaneous outings. But what has been really meaningful for me is finding a child-free tribe. If you're watching this video, it means that you too may be looking for a tribe and are interested in learning more about connecting with child-free people. So make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and follow Rick and I on Instagram because we've been developing a few ideas for the Child-Free Connection community that we think you're gonna love. Okay, and now for the good news. Life happens. We have zero control over others' choices and decisions, just like they have zero control over ours. What I learned and what I know is that true, real, loving friendships stand the test of time, and you will find a way to manage and cope through the years of separation. You may even find that although the experience is different, it can be quite rewarding. You will reconnect with the people in your life who truly love and care for you. For your true friends, it's not the lack of love that pushed you apart. It's just simply 2 people choosing the path that brings them the most joy. Please like this video if you relate to any of these expectations or tips, and don't forget to hit the bell and subscribe so you get notified once we post the next video. We appreciate you, we thank you, and we're excited to see you next week.
What are you doing with your hair today?
I think I'm gonna do buns because I was gonna blow it out, but it's so humid.
What are the buns gonna look
All right,
like?
go ahead, go.
Let's come along.
It's coming on.
Let's see what you got here.
No, babe. Oh my God. Okay.
All right.
Goodbye.
I want to see how it turned out.
It's going. I'm almost done. I'll be out in a second.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.